Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Baldur's Gate 2, the Enhanced Edition, The Shadows of Arm. And when last we left off, Dawn has entered into a scheme with another evil entity to betray his current master, Urgazoth, by trapping him in a circle of sorts, and then binding his essence to a blade so that Dawn can use it. Dawn, of course, is ever mindful of the fact that this person that's offering to help him betray Urgazoth could also betray him. I just hope that we can get out of this betrayal fest relatively intact. But before we do that, we're going to take on the Shadow Dragon, everyone! Is this a bad idea? Probably, but I'm still going to try. I'm going to start our spellcasting by having Resist Fear on everyone, and having Negative Plane Protection on everybody that could get into combat, and that is, Terry, Dawn, and Firkraag. Korgan doesn't need it, because Korgan's Enrage gives him the ability to resist things as if he had Negative Plane Protection. Negative Plane Protection is the thing that will make this fight a lot more manageable, because it's that will kill all of your fighters off. We want a invisibility on you, and improved invisibility on Edwin. Now the problem with Negative Plane Protection is it doesn't last very long, so we need to be quick here. We'll have that there, we'll have you cast improved invisibility on yourself, and then we'll have you Negative Plane Protection yourself here. There we go. That should be sufficient. Marvellous. Now let's get to actually starting this fight off. We're going to move you forward, and you fall forward here to start combat. Now one of two things is going to happen. Either the Shadow Dragon, Thaxll'ssillyia, is going to just start launching attacks against these four, or the dragon's going to use some sort of dispelling ability and get rid of them instantly. If that's the case, at the very least, they will have been a momentary distraction so that my frontline fighters can get ready for combat. They're going to be over here, and they're going to wait. And we have dialogue. How amusing that you petty fleshlings would dare disturb the slumber of the Shadow Dragon. Are you daft? Blind? Whatever. I shall tear your bodies apart and feast on your innards while you whimper and cry for mercy. And there goes all of the summoned help. Well, they served their purpose. They dealt with one ability, and that's really all I can count on them doing. I'm not gonna get you too close, Kikoskia. You probably die in 1 or 2 hits. Now, having the ability to resist fear means that these 3 won't run away. There are things that the Shadow Dragon can do. Most of them revolve around either wing buffeting you away, which we saw happen with Firkraag. There is also a 1-round blindness that we cannot resist, and there are also negative level effects that we also cannot save against, but Negative Plane Protection will prevent them from going off. Now you have magic resist going there. I actually want you now to use a Pierce Magic. Where's Pierce Magic? Right there. Okay, you two have been knocked away, and we managed to... oh, we're taking some nasty damage here. That's to be expected. We are the only person here. And that's a lot of damage. We need you to back up right now and heal. And then... oh, you're moving over there. That's fine. More wing buffets, and you have taken a bit of damage. You are already injured. And with you being injured, we are now going to have you use Chain Lightning. Have you back up a bit. And we're not actually doing badly, but you now have 30 health, and 30 health is not good at all. We want you two to move forward and start taking some of that damage. Oh dear! You've actually taken a negative level there, but the Shadow Dragon is nearly gone. We only need to get a few more hits off here. Just a few. Maybe a Chain Lightning will do a trick here. We don't have a Chain Lightning. Time for a Magic Missile. You also need to quaff a potion. And that didn't do a trick. We do need you to rush back in. Oh dear, we need you to rush back in, right? Oh, never mind! Victory is ours! And that went much better than the fight with Firkraag did. Oh man, that was rather intense. But we did it.
Could my opinion of this group drop any lower? Evidently so.
Really, Edwin? We literally just killed a dragon, and you're not impressed? I suppose you're never going to be impressed with anything, are you? We need a restoration, I think, to get rid of that negative level. Or lesser restoration will do the trick, but unfortunately we don't have that prepared. We'll get one of those prepared right now, and get rid of that for another Cure Serious Wounds. A small amount of energy drain isn't that bad. We can deal with that. Look at the loot we got, though. That's pretty impressive looking. We have a Moonbar gem, another one, a Water Opal, a Black Opal, a Sphene gem, which I've never seen before, a Pearl, 3,299 gold, the Crom Fear Scroll, I imagine that's going to be useful for something, and Shadow Dragon Scales. These heavy scales glisten under the light and are warm to the touch. There are a significant number of them salvaged from the corpse of the Shadow Dragon. Perhaps they might be useful in the formation of some kind of shield or armor. Oh, that they will! As for this gem here, Sphene is a soft, brittle gemstone, and, like Scapra, easily worked by unskilled cutters, of various yellow to green shades, the most prized of these being a fine emerald green. Okay, maybe that's not so valuable, but the pearl's not too bad. As for the scroll, this yellowed sheet of parchment describes the process used by the ancient dwarven smith Silverblade to forge the original Hammer of Thunderbolts, as well as the means by which he intended to continue to shape the weapon into its ultimate form, by the combining of the Hammer of Thunderbolts, Gauntlet of Ogre power, and a Girdle of Frost Giant strength, and using the power of the hammer's true name, Crom Fear, an ultimate weapon of destruction could still be completed using this scroll. That is what we need to turn the weapon that Corgan's holding on to, the Hammer of Thunderbolts, into a mighty thing indeed. And that's something that I've never got before. So, we are one step closer to making a fantastic weapon. And after that amazingly difficult fight that could have actually gone much worse if, for instance, Terry had taken a few more hits, we're going to rest. And I believe the negative levels, yep, the negative levels are gone.
Yes.
Which is good. We're done here. It's time to head all the way back to Thaxll'ssillyia. So we can do something with that pile of shadow scales that we've got. I don't know what armor that's going to make. If it's another suit of plate mail, that'd be pretty fantastic, because we could do with more awesome suits of plate mail. We could also do with popping into a shop and selling a lot of the suits of plate mail we picked up when we were having those fights earlier. We don't need the money necessarily, but it could go a long way to paying for having the armor from the shadow scales made. It'll cost about 5 or 6 grand, I imagine. There's small amounts of damage. We really don't need to worry about that damage. It is truly tiny. Also, somebody mentioned that there is a way to loot the thing in this statue's eye. It involves using the shadows to be able to highlight the thing without having the talk thing visible, because there's something there. Now, if we move back here, the talk thing shouldn't be there, but the ability to look at that should be. But I think you have to be in a very particular location to make it happen. Like, for instance... Oh, we may have got something there. Oh, nearly. You have to be very precise, like pinpoint accuracy. But if we move a little bit closer, it might be a bit easier. No. That's a really tricky thing to actually highlight. It is really tricky. It's probably not that important. Then it's really important, and people go, "No! Turn back! Get the thing in there! It's something amazing!" It's likely a gem. But I showed off there what you're meant to do, even if I couldn't do it. Now I think we can just head north up here and leave to quickly pop over to the docks district and get this armor forged. I hope it's something awesome. It's probably going to provide us with some sort of energy resistance that we really could have done with while we were fighting the dragon. I believe the Shadow Dragon deals acid damage, which is something that we're probably going to get resistance to. 16 hours travel. And here we are, safe and sound in the Docks District, and we know where we need to go. We need to pop over to here. I've never actually defeated the Shadow Dragon before.
Come on, let's kill something now.
Much easier than Firkraag. I wouldn't have thought that it was easier than Firkraag, but then I suppose when I was younger, I didn't consider using negative plane... You're a character that I've never spoken to before. Hello, Crazy Kelvin. A woman trapped hundreds of years, awake and aware with mind's eyes and ears, the darkness a friend till the bitter end, an end she no longer fears. I've heard worse poetry in my time. Hee hee hee. And off Kelvin goes. So long! Maybe that was a hint to some sort of quest, but I don't know what you're referring to. As I was saying, I didn't think to use negative plane protection at the time when I originally played the game. Now that I've played a lot more D&D, it came far more naturally, the idea of using negative plane protection to resist the energy drain. And that made the fight doable. Here we are, Cromwell, back with more stuff for you.
I need a swig of some strong dwarven ale.
Good morning to you, my friend. Good to see you back in my forge, it is. Be there something that you need? Do I have anything you could forge into an item? I couldn't rightly say. Let me have a look into your goods then. A minute of rummaging and I'll know for sure, aye? What's this? Some kind of scale from a beastie, aye? Aye, you've collected the scales of a shadow dragon. By the Soul Forger, 'tis a grand sight. I can make a suit of armour from yon scales if you like. What does it involve? Two things, my friend. It will cost you 5,000 gold pieces for the work, no less. And without an apprentice, you'll have to stay here a full day and help me run the forge. That sounds fine. Let's do it. As you wish. For such a commission, we can start on it right away. No sense in wasting time, then. It'd be best if we just get to it. I am excited to see what this is going to be. Magical hammer power! And by help, I imagine I'm just getting various things for you, because you're the true expert here, Cromwell, not me. One day later. The armor will be done.
Me timber's bad enough without ye bothering me.
Well, there you go, me friend. Use it well. And if you comes across anything else of interest, you knows where to bring it, aye? We have got Shadow Dragon Scale. This suit of armour is formed from interlocking Shadow Dragon scales. Elegant workmanship and practical considerations make this armour both beautiful and useful. The Shadow Dragon scales grant the wearer extra protection from acid. 50% acid resistance, armor class 1, and the list of people that can't use it is very small. And you know what that means. This is perfect armor for Hexat. Armor class 1? Armor class -1. This armor was as good as plate mail. This armor is as good as full plate. Wow. Your armor class is very impressive indeed. I'm impressed. That armor's really good. Plus, you now have another icon for acid resistance.
If that's what you want.
Let us now head over to, out of curiosity, do you now have your spells back? You actually do! That day of work actually counts as a day of rest for the purpose of regaining spells. That's pretty awesome. Before we leave, I want to go and check on Deirdre's stock. Now, if you remember, Deirdre is up in the Adventurer Mart, further away from the front entrance. Oh, you're back. Let's talk to you again.
I just came here to find some turnips, I swear.
Tee-hee-hee. And off he goes to find some turnips. I wish you luck. I'm sure you can find them. I've heard that there's a person called Jan Janssen that sells quite a few of them. You should go find him. And there is Peasant. He may have been important, but it turns out he wasn't. And you are Halfling Man. Fair enough. We'll just pop into the Adventurer Mart. We keep coming back here, but to be fair, we have accumulated so many items, it's worth us popping back. It really is. Also, we nearly got the money to pay for making that armor from the Shadow Dragon's Horde. I'm still really impressed that that fight went so well. Firkraag was much more tricky, but not that one. Let's just pop into here, and we will equip various things that allow our charisma to flourish, just so that we get slightly better deals. Granted, the deals are going to be a little worse than normal because we lost that point of reputation. I'm actually kind of glad we lost that point of reputation. Alright, Deirdre. What awesome things do you have that I can get? It's things like the Sword of Balduran and the Plate of Balduran that I am sort of interested in, and also selling an awful lot of things. We'll keep the Helms of Charm Protection and the Gifts of Peace, but I don't need 17 suits of plate mail. That's 3,000. I don't need 3 of these. I don't need 7 of these. Maybe I can sell 5 of them. I don't need a medium shield +1, a flail +2, a mace +2, or a two-handed sword +2, or this, or that, really. Or the Knight's Gift. 20,000 gold. Right there. Now this can not be used by many people. It could be used by a thief, though. Be used by you, and I don't think you have many rings, so we'll actually give you the Mercy Killer ring. It's quite useful. As for everything else, the Shield of Balduran, it's served its purpose for the most part, but I think we'll pick that up before we move on to Chapter 3. Plate of Balduran is quite nice, armor class -1. That is actually a bit better than what you're currently using. So, we'll actually buy the Plate of Balduran. It's, for reference, it's just as good as the one that we're currently using. Do you see this, people? Do you see that I'm actually buying things? This is actually doubly useful for Dawn, because it also gives him bonus hit points, and that's really good. Also, +2 longsword, magic resistance, this has armor class +1 and the ability to cast Simulacrum once per day. It's actually pretty good. It would give us another person that could basically fight once a day. Just 16 rounds we could have a slightly weaker version of Dawn. Or we could have another Korgan. Another Korgan seems very tempting. As for this amulet, not really something we're going to use. I'm actually going to take Valor's Helm. That armor class +1 is quite nice. We'll buy it. I spent some money, everyone! Watch me not have to have spent that money. But I think it's worth it. Your armor class has gotten better now. It's now -5 as opposed to -4. It is soon going to be -6. Now, this is not bad at all. We'll actually give you this helm here. There you go, your armor class is -6. We're going to give you this helmet, because if there's anyone we want a second of, it's a second Korgan. We want a second tank at any particular time, and I think we're pretty much done when it comes to buying things here. We've spent a lot of money right there, but I think ultimately it was worth it. The Plate of Balduran, very useful for Dawn there. Armor class -6, slightly more hit points. and that helmet that lets simulacrum be cast once per day. Ooh, there's actually
What would you
one
have
more
me
thing
do?
that we
If
want.
you say so.
Specifically, it's something that we want for Vaconia. And to get that, we're going to have to go over to the Copper Coronet. There is a merchant in the Copper Coronet that sells items that are references to Icewind Dale. Now, I remember getting the bonus CD when I pre-ordered Baldur's Gate 2, and it had this merchant on it. This is a selling point of this little bonus CD. It's like, hey, pre-order the game, which we did, because back then, pre-ordering the game guaranteed you actually got a copy of it. And we got this CD with it. I went to the wrong area.
Whatever you
Yep, I'm too used to going to Badox District and the Temple District that I decided to go to the wrong place. Also, that armor looks really good. And that helmet looks really good as well. All of the helmets are now pretty distinct. The party looks very unique indeed, every single person. Now, the merchant we're looking for is you, Jolov.
Well, you look like the sort who has more than 2 gold pieces to rub together.
Greetings, I'm Jolov. I have recently arrived from the 10 towns of Icewind Dale. It was a long trek, but I wanted to get the most value I could from the items I collected up north. Athkatla is known as the richest city in all of Faerun, so I knew there would be adventurers about with the amount of coin I was looking for. Would you like to take a look at my wares? Yes. What we want to get is the Sling of Everard +5. The Sling of Everard was a holy weapon created by the god Tempus and given to Everard to help him defeat the enemies of Icewind Dale. When you don't have any bullets equipped, the sling fires missiles that are treated as +5 for the purpose of determining what enemies they can damage. The missiles receive +5 to hit, including the bonus listed below, and deal a total of 1d4 +2 damage. This is a really useful sling because it's one of the few slings that can damage some enemies with really high damage resistance. We're talking about demi-liches here.
You'll find no better prices in armor.
Now, can
I
we make it
guarantee
cheaper? We made it about 7k cheaper. This is a big expenditure. We're going to go down from 130-odd thousand to 40,000 from just a few purchases. It's still worth it. It's so very much worth it, because now we can switch this out for that. And as long as we remove all of your sling bullets,
Yes.
you'll be able to use this
Sons are dosed.
with the +5 to hit and +2 damage sling bullets that are made infinitely. And you know what this means?
Have a look here.
We can sell all these sling bullets now. We don't need them. So we can start recouping our money. Oh, who am I kidding? We aren't recouping anything here. These bullets are worth nothing. But you know what they are good for? They're very good for clearing out some inventory space. We spent 28 grand on that sling. It may have been a mistake. It could very well have been a mistake. But you know what? We still have 42,000. We are going to have far more money given to us by the end of this game. Also, we have a +3 sling that we don't know what to do with. We could give it to you, but to be honest, you're using the darts of wounding. I think the darts of wounding are
Sure, guide my
probably
hand.
better. Plus, you also have the Cloak of the Stars, too.
What is it now?
We'll sell that +3 sling.
Very well.
You look
Actually,
like the
we'll
sort who has
keep
more
the
than 2
+3
gold pieces
sling.
to rub together.
I may end up having Edwin use that at some point. So, we defeated the Shadow Dragon. We also bought a lot of items,
I'm
and
busy, okay? I'm
pretty
busy.
much reduced our gold to a third of what it once was. But when we come back, folks, now that we're that much better equipped, or should I say, minorly better equipped, this helmet here, Simulacrum on Korgan, that's gonna be really good when fighting powerful foes. Suddenly, 4 frontline fighters. Just think about that, 4 of them. 16 rounds is more than enough for a single encounter. And when we come back, folks, we're going to go to the Resurrection Grove, a place I have never, ever been to before. And I'm sure it's going to be full of peril.
Victory shall be
Massive
ours.
amounts of peril.
You know this.
And I might as well actually have you equipped with that sling all the time for now. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.